welcome. Today, we're going to revisit one of the most tragic and impactful events in recent history, the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. It's a painful but necessary journey to understand what happened on that fateful day and how the community united in response. If this topic interests you and you want to understand more about this moment, leave your like and subscribe to the channel to follow more important content like this. At 2:49 p.m. local time, the festive atmosphere of Boylston Street was torn apart by a deafening roar. The first bomb exploded on the north side of the street, near a sporting goods store and just a few meters from the finish line. Just 12 seconds later, and at a distance of approximately 195 meters from the first, a second explosion hit the south side of the street, near the Forum, a popular restaurant. These were not random explosions. They were meticulously planned acts of terror. The bombs were improvised explosive devices, IEDs, assembled inside 6-liter kitchen pressure cookers. Inside these cookers, the terrorists had placed an arsenal of lethal shrapnel, nails, ball bearings, and metal fragments. The objective was clear: to maximize carnage and cause the greatest possible number of serious injuries and deaths. The pressure cookers were strategically hidden in backpacks left among the crowd, making them almost invisible to unsuspecting eyes. The scene that followed was one of pure chaos and indescribable horror. Dense, dark smoke obscured the street, mixing with the acrid smell of gunpowder and burnt metal. Cheers of joy turned into screams of pain and panic. Exhausted runners who had barely crossed the finish line, and excited spectators who were cheering fervently, were thrown to the ground, hit by fragments and the shockwave of the explosions. The asphalt and sidewalks were stained with blood, and debris was scattered everywhere. The finish line, a place of celebration, achievement, and hugs, turned into a scene of unimaginable carnage. People in shock tried to get up, while others lay motionless, severely injured. Images from that moment, captured by photographers and cell phone cameras, show the desolation and despair. Mutilated legs, dismembered bodies, faces covered in soot and blood. Marathon volunteers, paramedics, police officers, and even runners who had just finished the race, many with their medals still on their chests, instinctively ran to help, transforming into anonymous heroes amidst the tragedy. It's the immediate response of the Boston population, with their courage and altruism, was a striking contrast to the cruelty of the attack. The marathon was abruptly interrupted. Runners still on the course, including thousands approaching the finish line, were diverted away from the blast area, many not fully understanding the extent of what had happened. The city center was quickly sealed off, with airspace restrictions, public transport disruption, and the closure of entire blocks. Bomb squads scoured the area for other devices, while emergency teams worked tirelessly to transport the injured to nearby hospitals. It was a wartime scenario in broad daylight, in a city proud of its peaceful history and traditions. The attack resulted in 3 immediate deaths and 264 injuries, a number that reflects the indiscriminate and devastating nature of the attack. Among the deceased were Martin Richard, an 8-year-old boy who was watching the race with his family. He held a sign asking for peace, which became a symbol of lost innocence and the search for a better world. Chris L. Campbell, a vibrant 29-year-old woman who had come to watch the race with a friend. Lu Lingzi, a talented 23-year-old Chinese student who was pursuing a postgraduate degree at Boston University and dreamed of a promising future. Among those injured, the dimension of the tragedy was palpable. 17 people needed to have limbs amputated due to the severity of the injuries caused by shrapnel and the explosion. Many had their lives permanently altered, facing long processes of physical and psychological recovery. Boston hospitals, such as Massachusetts General Hospital, Brigham and Women's Hospital, and Boston Medical Center, became centers of excellence in trauma, where doctors and nurses worked tirelessly to save lives and mitigate the damage. The investigation of the attack mobilized a gigantic and unprecedented task force in the history of the FBI and U.S. security agencies. More than 1,000 agents, analysts, and specialists were assigned to the case. transforming Boston into a true center of intelligence operations. The analysis began immediately, focusing on every fragment of evidence. Investigators meticulously searched the explosion site, collecting remnants of pressure cookers, detonator fragments, and especially the metal shrapnel that caused so much damage. Every piece was crucial for reverse engineering the bombs and understanding the attackers' mindset. The turning point, however, came from surveillance footage. Boston is a city full of security cameras, both public and private. Thousands of hours of video were analyzed frame by frame. Testimonies from survivors and photos taken by spectators with their cell phones were also collected en masse. This mountain of data began to reveal a pattern. In it, the investigation team was able to identify two individuals carrying dark backpacks at the exact explosion sites where, moments before they occurred, they were seen acting discreetly, blending into the crowd and leaving the backpacks on the ground before calmly walking away. The suspects were identified as brothers Tamerlan Tsarnaev, 26 years old, and Johar Tsarnaev, 19 years old, both of Chechen origin, who lived in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The images released by the FBI were clear enough for the public to recognize them. Johar's photograph with his baseball cap turned backward, and Tamerlan's with a baseball cap were extensively broadcast on all media platforms in a desperate appeal for information. The public release of the images on April 18th transformed the investigation into a massive and unprecedented manhunt in the United States since 9/11's. The mere appearance of the suspects' faces triggered a series of dramatic events. That same night, in a desperate attempt to acquire more weapons, the Tsarnaev brothers murdered MIT Massachusetts Institute of Technology police officer Sean Collier, 27, shooting him in his patrol car. They planned to steal his weapon, but the intervention of another officer prevented them from completing the action. Soon after, the brothers carjacked a Chinese driver in his car, demanding money and threatening to explode the vehicle. During the carjacking, the driver managed to escape at a gas station and alerted the police, providing vital information about the vehicle and the direction the brothers were heading. This led to a frantic pursuit and a violent shootout in the streets of Watertown, a Boston suburb, on the morning of April 19th. The scene looked like something out of a war movie. Explosions, tense gunfire, and homemade grenades being thrown by the terrorists. During the confrontation, Tamerlan Tsarnaev was severely wounded by police gunfire and ended up being run over by his own brother, Johar, as he tried to flee in the stolen car. Marilyn died shortly after at the hospital. Johar Tsarnaev managed to escape on foot, disappearing into the pre-dawn darkness. This escape triggered an unprecedented lockdown across the entire Boston metropolitan area. Authorities issued an alert asking residents to stay home. Businesses and schools were closed, public transportation was suspended. Approximately 9,000 police officers, including SWAT teams, patrolled the streets, going door to door in search of the fugitive. The entire city remained in agonizing suspense for hours. The tension only ended on the night of April 19th. Watertown resident noticed blood on a canvas boat parked in his backyard. Upon lifting the canvas, he saw a body. He called the police. Johar Tsarnaev was found hiding and injured inside the boat. After a brief negotiation and a final confrontation, he was arrested. His capture marked the end of a week of terror and uncertainty, bringing a sigh of relief to Boston and to all of the United States. The image of Johar emerging from the boat, covered in blood and visibly shaken, became iconic and symbolized the end of the manhunt. The hunt for the Tsarnaev brothers was not just a police effort. It was a moment of great solidarity and courage. The way the population collaborated with authorities, the bravery of police officers, the resilience of residents in the face of fear were striking aspects of this tragic, yet heroic, moment. Investigations and the subsequent trial of Johar Tsarnaev revealed that brothers Tamerlan and Johar Tsarnaev were motivated by an extremist Islamic ideology. They acted alone, with no direct evidence of orders or links to international terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda or the Islamic State, although their views were aligned with online jihadist propaganda. During Johar Tsarnaev's interrogation after his capture, and later confirmed by evidence presented at trial, he stated that the attack was retaliation and a protest against the United States wars in Muslim countries, such as Afghanistan and Iraq. He and his brother believed they were acting in the name of Islam, defending it against Western aggression. The motivation behind terrorist acts is always a complex field of study. It's combining ideological, psychological, and social factors. In the case of the Tsarnaevs, it was the confluence of a radical interpretation of Islam, resentment toward U.S. foreign policies, and the dynamic between two brothers that led to the Boston Marathon tragedy. We hope this detailed account has offered a deeper understanding of the events of the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. If you found this content informative and relevant, please leave your like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel to follow more analyses and impactful stories. If you have any questions or want to share your perspective, leave a comment below. We appreciate your viewership and see you in the next video.